All right, guys. It looks on my end like I'm live. If I am, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the chat. Sam, I see you in the live stream chat, live comments. Go ahead and give me that thumbs up so I know that you hear my audio. And it looks like we are live. Welcome back to the Mining Market Signal. Kevin Hawthorne, I see you all the way out from Lakeland, Florida. Thank you for showing up. It means so much that you're spending your time here with us tonight. Love the work that you do out in your community, and I'm so honored that you're spending your time with me, man. Really, it means a lot. Thank you. You got other places you could be. It means a lot that all of you, the entire audience, is here with us tonight. Let me jump right out of the way and talk about the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. This is the trend for the last month. Give or take. Nope. Last month, we've gone down into extreme fear for several days, and we're still kind of in the extreme fear range, so to speak. And it looks like we've gone from a score of 22 all the way up to 27, now back down to 26. Again, if you're not familiar with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, there's a link down in the description to alternative.me, which is, it's basically just an index of how people are feeling across Reddit and across Twitter. This is an automated sentiment generator, right? It's basically, it's a scraper, data scraper from all these platforms that aggregates all the information and then helps to interpret it with a little bit of machine learning or some other automated tools to help come up with some kind of a final number like we see right here, just based on how people talk about it and what they're indicating through their tweets and through their Reddit posts and through their comments. Lets us know roughly what people think and feel about the crypto markets. Yes, it's predominantly Bitcoin related, or maybe Ethereum related. All of the higher market cap coins are represented in the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. In my mind, this is usually a really good counter indicator. So when we're down in this range of extreme fear or fear, in my mind, it still signals a relatively good time to be, I won't say greedy, but to be optimistic about the future of cryptocurrency or about the near to mid-term within the cryptocurrency markets. And when it dips down into the single digits or close to the single digits, that's when, for me, I get very, very excited. Is this legal, financial, or business advice? Are you new here? No, it is not legal, financial, or business advice. You're always responsible for the trades that you make, for the ways that you invest, and for any decision that you make in your life. Own that stuff, all right? Don't cast all your concerns, don't cast all of your responsibilities onto anybody else, right? Including me. So jumping back out of the way, that's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index for today. This little guy right there you see off to the left of your screen, this little widget, this can be embedded on a website if you'd like that, or your own personal blog, and it automatically updates to show you the most recent score. I'm going to refresh this live because it just updated at the top of the hour. The score was 26. Now when I refresh, here we go, 32. So I misspoke. I spoke too soon. We're all the way out of extreme fear and we're into fear. This changes a little bit, not everything, I won't say, but this changes a little bit. And let's go back and kind of revise what we mean here. Taking a look at that chart, see the trend is now upwards. We're in an upwards channel as far as sentiment goes. Generally speaking, sentiment tends to follow price action. People get really excited when price moves up, right? I mean, you're excited about your Bitcoin holdings. I'm excited about my Bitcoin holdings. Certainly in the Bitcoin that I bought below $30,000, I'm pretty happy about that purchase now. And anything that I bought above $40,000, I'm a little less happy about it. But in general, this is far better than the price of Bitcoin in 2017 and any time since then. So most people are looking at it and feeling a little bit better than they were yesterday. All right, so that's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index there. Let me just take a quick look at our current comments and our current viewers. Guys, thank you so much for being subscribed. I got to say that. And thank you so much for sharing this link. Having more live viewers helps us to have a much more fun conversation, a much more full conversation. I don't hide your comments. In fact, I often have to approve your comments, provided you're not like a robot or whatever, or saying mean things. I often have to approve comments. I've got really strong comment moderation rules in place, but I often will approve your comments, and I don't hide comments lightly. We'll just say it that way. So love seeing you. Hey, Nemesis is in the comment section. Nemesis, we got to have you on. Got to have you on for one of these events. This is a fun segment. I know you'd have fun with this, right? Especially with that Bitcoin chart that we're going to see at the end. I mean, I'm giving away the ending at the beginning. We're going to take a look at a chart, right? But I'd love to have you on stream for one of these events, one of these days, Nemesis. But jumping back out of the way here, you see that the trend is positive. People are becoming more and more greedy. That, for me, spells caution. I won't say that for me it spells fear, it spells caution. To see the trend is moving upwards, right? The sentiment is starting to swing upwards. What everybody else is doing is the opposite of what I want to do, generally speaking, right? If the whole market is saying like, oh, no, you don't understand, to the moon, we're definitely going to see $200,000 Bitcoin. My first thought is that means we're definitely not going to see $200,000 Bitcoin. We got Gallo in the comment section saying, buenas noches, senor. And thank you, Gallo, for being present with us tonight. So cool. Raven Boy Crypto says, howdy, y'all. And Cryptid Youth jumps in and says, danger, Will Robinson. I agree. Yes, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is like our robot, right? On Lost in Space, and it will tell us what everybody else is thinking, and then we have to, in our own minds, we have to fill in those words the Cryptid Youth is talking about. If we just take it at face value, it'll sound like take courage, Will Robinson. Go buy, Will Robinson. We have to be careful, right? We have to, in our minds, interpret that last word and think, nope, danger, Will Robinson. It's up to us. Now you know better, or at least you know the way that I view it. But that's the trend on the Fear and Greed Index. Guys, just for kicks, I wanted to see also on Fiat Leak where all the Doge is going. And apparently, yeah, you read that right. That's the Great British Pound, right? That's the pound. Almost no dollars going in the pound, or Great British Pound. Good grief. I cannot quite say this. I'm struggling tonight, guys. I've got a little problem with saying the word pound and Great Britain's pound in the same sentence. I'm just going to say pounds, or I'm going to say quid, right? We don't see any pounds going towards Doge. Is that a bad thing? Probably not. But I think it's hilarious that outside of US dollars, we don't see many euros either, but we do see a lot of Thai baht. We see the currency of Thailand going into Doge. What is going on? Why are the people of Thailand buying Doge? What do they know that we don't know, huh? I mean, Tony Jaa is from there, and he's pretty awesome still. Even though he's getting a little bit older, he doesn't do as many of his own stunts. Tony Jaa is a pretty amazing martial artist. What does he know that we don't know? Tony Jaa, if you're in the comment section, please tell us. And please don't kick any of us in the face. But clearly, a lot of Thai baht going into Doge. And it's over 20 cents again, so surely there are people who are very much encouraged by that. We'll leave that alone and jump back over into Bitcoin to see where in the world all the dollars and all the currency is that's flowing into Bitcoin. Again, Fiat Leak is another free service that you can use. The link is down in the description. It's so much fun as a screensaver too, if you want to just crop into that one area that shows the global map and gives you kind of eyes on. If you can have that in a background window or in a widget on your workstation or on your desktop at work, just so much fun. Or have it on a TV in the office, maybe in a conference room or something. If you work in a shared space, if you're working from home, of course, it's just a lot of fun to be able to see that in the background. So fiatleak.com, it's a great tool. But we see right now, still, yeah, we got Euro. Yeah, we've got USD. Yeah, we've got some Japanese yen going into Bitcoin, but not as many yen as I think Korean won. Lots of whales in Korea. Lots of people clearly in South Korea who are of high net worth or just retail. And maybe there's really good retail exchanges, centralized exchanges that are allowing individual, like retail entrants like us to buy Bitcoin in Korea. So lots of money going out that way. And then last but not least, we're going to take a look at Ethereum really briefly here, just because, guys, this is a GPU mining show primarily. And so we still talk about Ethereum quite a bit. Will we forever? I don't know, man. Fingers crossed. We might not for very long, but hopefully we get to talk about Ethereum for a little bit longer after EIP 1559 hits. Anyway, looks like Ethereum, we got plenty of US dollars, got plenty of pounds going into it, plenty of rubles going into Ethereum, plenty of euro going into Ethereum, and then far less Korean won going into Ethereum. Hey, we got Greg Moravec in the comments section. Greg, thanks for saying hello. Good to know that you are still doing okay. Anybody in the comment section, if you want to put praying hands in the comments, live comments for Greg, he's dealing with a personal issue that's pretty serious right now. We chat offline, and without revealing that, it's a personal issue that he's got to deal with. It'd mean a lot to him, and by extension, that would mean a lot to me if you did that. So, Greg, thanks for being here. We also see in the comments section, Sam laughing at my jokes. Oh my gosh, bless your heart, Sam. My wife doesn't even laugh at my jokes. Nobody laughs at my jokes. My kids don't laugh at my jokes. I tell dad jokes, and they're terrible. They're fit literally only for YouTube and maybe Twitch. I think on Twitch, they would literally deplatform me. Anyway, I see a comment coming in from Raven Boy Crypto asking, why do I keep hearing YouTubers hating on Raven? Minus you, of course. Well, that's a good question, Raven Boy Crypto, and I'm not without my criticisms of Raven, just to be very straightforward. I met with Tron Black last year, in person, face-to-face, and Jeremy Corbin. Really great team, really great guys. I actually met in person the entire core developer team, and I saw where they work. They actually have a campus or have an office. At that time, they had an office. Gosh, it hasn't been a year. It's been since before 2020. That was in 2019. I'm sorry. But I went and saw at the Overstock.com building where they have an office that was provided to them by the VC group that funded them, Medici Ventures, right? That helped kind of kickstart development for Ravencoin. Really cool team. They're not like this ultra decentralized team that's all over the world. Yes, they accept pull requests from everywhere. But from what I saw and the people who I met there, the Ravencoin developer team they're pretty darn cool, pretty laid back. Tron Black also has a really great idea for how he wants to see Ravencoin be adopted by other people. And then you have Bruce Fenton, who was involved in the project much earlier on. He's gone on to get his Series 7 securities license or securities credential. And he's now operating in that realm and has fully detached himself from the project. But he was there early on and was one of the co-founders. It seems apparent to me that they're trying to build something that could be used for, not that they're trying to force any cards, but something that could be used for tokenized securities that take all the steps to jump through legal hoops that would make it impossible for other cryptocurrencies to fit the bill. I don't know how much progress they've made against just some of the basic Ethereum type tokens, ERC20s, ERC771s, and so many others, right? I think there's ERC 1150, I'm forgetting which one. It's 1150 something. But there are so many different ERC type tokens with Ethereum that allow for additional enhanced smart contract functionality and allow for after the fact wallet whitelisting and allow for minting and burning. So there's a lot of control on the part of the smart contract issuer or the smart contract initiator. So for me, it's not that I think that Ravencoin is a bad project at all. It's a great project. It's really great. They've done a lot of great work. I do see it struggling to gain market share and gain mind share. But again, I'm not here to pick winners, guys. I'm literally just here to read to you the data for profitability and then maybe offer a little bit of my opinion. But at the end of the day, again, you got to make your own choices. And Ravencoin they've done admirably so far. Despite having been hacked, despite having had problems and setbacks, every project has problems and setbacks. And they've done a really good job of trying to overcome them with a lot of transparency. So I hope that answers your question. I'm trying not to hate on it. I think a lot of other YouTubers maybe hate on Ravencoin because they struggle to see what the future could be. And maybe they don't know enough about the history of the project, where it came from and how it got to where it is now. Bitsby Trippin is, he's in about as deep as any YouTuber can get and as close as any YouTuber can get with the Ravencoin team and community. So definitely he's got some great content there as well. But that's my take on it from where I'm standing. Anyway, jumping back out of the way here, we see where a lot of this Ethereum is going, and it is very heavily stateside, right? Very, very heavily. And there's a bit more coming out from other areas of the world, right? So we see the Japanese yen sucking up some Ethereum there, as well as the Thai baht, just not quite as much. And interestingly, there's a much larger percentage of Thai baht being spent on Doge than on Ethereum or Bitcoin. I don't know what that's all about, guys. Again, I'm a little bit confused by that. If you live in Thailand or you have a friend from Thailand, ask them to let us know what's going on there. Why is Doge so appealing to the Thai people right now? Because I don't get it. Anyway, that's fiatleak.com, and that's our Ethereum map there. Over to txstreet.com. This has been a great addition to take a look at the stats on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll move those stats up for Bitcoin, and I'll move the stats for Ethereum over, so we've got kind of visual parity there. You can see that a little more easily. Looks like the median ETH transfer fee is holding steady about $1.50 USD, and the median contract fee is up still quite a bit, with 250 Gwei as the current block right at this moment. You see that, right? Current block being prepped, 250 Gwei, not even quite settled yet. 240 lined up right behind it. Guys, gas fees are they are ridiculous right now. They are absolutely ridiculous right now, and it's just shameful unless you're a miner. Seriously, we're so well positioned right now, guys. Maybe this is a last hurrah before EIP 1559 goes live in early August, on about August 4th, roughly, give or take. There's a really great countdown timer. I think, is it on etherscan.com? Yeah, Cryptid Youth is seeing what I'm seeing here. He just made the comment, cha-ching. Yep, that's what I see too. Yes, they're not dollar signs, right? They're whatever, fractional Ethereum signs in my mind. But whatever, we know what the end result is, right? We know what we're going to do with those ether we get paid out. So it's great to see this on some level. It's really great to see. Wow, that was a really low cost block that got in between there. Looks like it's kind of resetting or refreshing from our data source. Ravenboy Crypto, thank you so much for the super chat. Ravenboy Crypto says, "Thank you, thank you, sure, you are appreciated." And I apologize because I messed up. So I'm not sure if it is. Not sure if you said sir or sure, but I appreciate you. Thank you very much. We got Daniel Keller in the house from the Flux Network, the Flux Project, and he says, if we're talking about get Flux, baby. Yes, Flux is a project that I need to cover a little more in depth, and we did talk about that. If your ears were burning last night, Daniel, it's because I was telling them to follow the Flux Medium channel, right? The Flux Medium blog. We need to get better info when we're making these decisions. Don't just listen to a talking head on YouTube. Find good data sources. Study what the project is publishing on their own official blogs and on their own official outlets. And if you can, if you're comfortable with monitoring the pull requests and monitoring the activity on a GitHub repository, do that too. And then try to make sense of it. If that's the skill set that you have, right? Do everything you can to really deeply educate yourself. Don't get complacent. Stay curious. Stay hungry. Learn as much as you can. And I mean, I'm talking out of both sides of my face, because am I currently doing that right now with the Flux repository myself? No, I'm not. I'm not. Only so many hours in a day. But when I'm curious about one of these projects, I don't take hearsay as gospel truth. I do not accept somebody else's opinion. You got to find out the good stuff for yourself. So yeah, Daniel, I asked them to take a look at your blog. All right, or the project blog, not yours, notably not yours. Another project came up where the project lead, their blog is basically the one. Bang and Turf just says, just stopped in to show love and give a like. Got to be up at 4:30 a.m. Ooh. He says, blessings, brother. Hey, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. And John Germain is asking, where's the 40K breakout? That's the question of the hour, and we will get to that. We're going to take a look at the chart and see kind of roughly what our bounds are, and show you a bit of lines that I've drawn on a chart. Again, guys, let me have my fun here, right? This is where I take out my crayons, right, or my magic markers, whatever. But they're actually the scented magic markers, right? And if you suck on them, they don't taste how they smell. Don't ask me how I know, but I'm just telling you. I'm just warning you. They don't write it on the container. They should, right? They don't taste how they smell. If they did that, they'd sell a lot less of them, I guess, but maybe that's why they don't have the notice on it. But we'll get around to the 40K breakout on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin chart is kind of the highlight of the live stream. We'll get around to that in just a little bit, shake things up, and go back to our TX Street overview here. Median contract fee over 13 bucks. And then over on Bitcoin, whoa, mempool count is up over 7,000, but we can do better. Folks, we can do better. We could go over 9,000. Why aren't you transacting more on Bitcoin? I kid. But the median fee is up 10x over what it was 48 hours ago. We're over 10 sats per VByte. That's significant, actually, for Bitcoin right now. These are a little bit higher than usual. However, in US dollar value, that only comes out to about 85 cents. Hey, Daniel Keller comes through with the super chat. It's an emoji. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. But yeah, we've got relatively inexpensive transfer fees on Bitcoin. Again, you heard me say it the other day. If you are using Whirlpool or any other CoinJoin implementation, or you feel strongly about that, these are the kinds of the times and seasons where you might consider mixing some of your Bitcoin. Why would I say that? Well, it's not illegal to do so. Right? It's not illegal. There is no law against mixing your Bitcoin and making it fungible again. And it increases the privacy of that network if you have Bitcoin holdings. So I'm going to keep saying that until they say it's illegal. And then I'll just hint at it, right? But right now, fees are low. You should consider it. But what to mine? Let's go into our profitability numbers, starting with Team Red, starting on the R9380. 14 cents per kilowatt hour is our basis for power. Over 5 Bitcoin in daily volume is going to be what we look at for projects here. We could bring it down to 1, but I think that kind of gives us a false impression of what's actually possible for us. When we have that really, really low volume daily, it makes it difficult for us to be able to move coins if we have to. And as much as there are many projects we feel strongly about and that we want to hold coins for. Sorry guys, I actually got myself some water with lemon for tonight. Ooh. Something quite like that. Water with lemon just hits different, right? It's just great. But when we have too low volume in trading, then we're forced to hold. And if we do sell, we wind up harming the projects that we've mined and that we've tried to receive some value from, right? We become really, really poor citizens of those communities when we sell low volume coins and low cap / low volume coins. That's why I like looking at coins that have at least a volume of 5 BTC daily. So I'm going to keep that actually at 5 BTC. We're going to mine the averages as well. Profitability and difficulty for revenue over 7 days. So let's calculate. Got Raven Boy Crypto says, looks like a rave on the Bitcoin side. And Daniel Keller says, Seth, keep the mining world rolling. Thanks for all you do. Hey, I really appreciate that again. And I heard a little birdie told me that there may be a really awesome giveaway coming up somewhere in the Flux community. I guess they'll just have to follow your official channels to see when that happens. So, yeah. You didn't hear it here, guys, right? You heard nothing. You saw nothing. All right. But the R9380, at that cost for power, we've got Ethereum Classic top of the list. We're at 34 cents per day. Not bad. Ergo, 31 cents. Also acceptable. Ravencoin, it's above what it was yesterday, but we're still just below 10 cents per day. Quite a risk still, in my opinion, on these older cards. And same with Zano. Zano's finally upside down. We're no longer profitable at all on those cards for Zano. We weren't really that profitable yesterday or the day before. We've been kind of moving towards not being profitable on some of the Prog Pow coins on these really older cards anyway. So this just kind of confirms it. Once we stop being able to mine some of these other coins, these alternatives like Ethereum Classic and Ergo, we're pretty much in trouble there. We don't really get to mine on these older cards anymore. Kind of sad, but it's already kind of a miracle that we were able to mine profitably on them anyway. Going to the R9 Fury, the first generation HBM card for consumers and widely used in mining. We've got top of the list, Ravencoin at 86 cents per day, Ethereum Classic at 55 cents per day, which is not super attractive, but it's not nothing. And it's not going to go away after Ethereum stops being mineable, right? Zano, 51 cents per day. Ergo, 49 cents per day. In terms of an older card, an older hardware profile, I think any of these are a decent option, but obviously Ravencoin beats everything else with the profit by 30 cents per day. It's a significant margin, right? And significant alpha over the others. So not bad to stick with that. 4 gig Polaris cards. And again, you've heard me talk about these as like, they are like the soldiers of GPU mining. They are the real MVP. These things have been just killing it since the return to profitability. And even after Ethereum stopped being profitable, these guys never stopped. They never gave up. They kept on marching on in Ravencoin and other coins. Again, higher than that R9 Fury. So right here, 89 cents for Ravencoin every single day. Ethereum Classic at 84 cents. Pretty amazing. I think we discovered also that if we move this into a more realistic hash rate for Ethash 4G, something like 30.5 mega hashes per second, which is doable on those cards, we see that they're almost neck and neck. In fact, Ethereum Classic hits the #1 spot at 95 cents per day, almost a full $1. So Ethereum Classic does much, much better. Some Goblin Loser is in the comment section. Sorry, some Goblin Loser I don't know is in the comment section saying, hey, yo, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for saying hello. Gallo asks, no shilling, please don't ban me. So, hey, I appreciate that. And no problem. I'm not going to repeat what you said, but it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes there's a little bit of shilling that can happen. It's when it's automated and when it's bad-natured, or when you post links to your merch store on my live stream when I've got my own merch store. Then I'm like, hey, let's cut that out. But yeah, you've done nothing wrong, obviously. Ergo, still on the list at 83 cents every single day. But again, guys, you've heard me say it as well. The fact that it's associated with the Cardano ecosystem for me makes me nervous. I won't say anything disparaging about Cardano. It's just it's a function of fact. It's not a function of opinion that Cardano has not shipped working smart contracts on a mainnet to date. Nothing exists on mainnet at all. So that's not FUD, and that's not me being cruel. That's me looking with eyes wide open at what has and hasn't been delivered, at what promises have or haven't been fulfilled. So I'm nervous. That's just all. I'm just really nervous. Could it succeed? Yeah. And if it does, it'll be really meaningful, right? It'll take the crypto sphere by storm. But I'm not convinced that's definitely going to happen yet. So I'm a little bit standoffish. Zano's on the list as well, but not nearly as remarkable. Let's move from our 4 gig card to our 8 gig Polaris card. Also another darling in the GPU mining scene. These are cards that probably should have been retired. They're still hashing profitably. Moving down the list, we see Ethereum is at top of the stack, 159. And Ravencoin is a distant second at 86 cents. Ethereum Classic at 92 cents. So really above the Ravencoin profits. And then Ergo not far behind, or just above Ravencoin as well, at 88 cents every single day. These guys are really, really high on the list. After we get out of the older architecture AMD cards, let's get into the first generation Vega cards. Vega 56 with HBM2 memory should be, yep. What the what? Vega 56 is returning the most profitable result on Ergo. I had to double check that. Ergo is top of the list. Cryptid Youth says, I've still got my 8 580s hashing away still. I do too. I've got a 580 rig as well that I'm very happy with. Very, very happy with. Don't see any problems with it at all. Don't plan on retiring it. I'm happy with those cards. But we got Ethereum a little lower in the lineup at 268. And then we've got Ravencoin not doing bad, but it's a full $1 and what is that? 5 cents lower than Ethereum at just $1.63, with Ethereum Classic far, far lower. Not making a whole lot of sense to be there, but you know, there are the numbers, 49 mega hash on both Ethash and Ethash 4G. So that's how the profit shakes out in Ethereum Classic. Let's go to the top of the line for the latest generation Vega Core with HBM2, the Radeon 7. Figure that out. Ethereum, top of the list, 551 every single day. Ergo, distant second place at 440. Ethash, or Ethereum Classic and Ravencoin in third and fourth, respectively, at $1 drop each. That's steep, guys. I mean, nowhere is it more obvious than with the Radeon 7 and a couple of the other high-performance cards that when Ethereum stops being profitable, some of these other cards are not going to make a lot of sense. We're probably going to see a secondary market for these higher performance cards like the Vega, even though if you already have them, right, in terms of daily profit, there's still plenty of profit. But I personally foresee a lot of these Vega 56s and a lot of even these Radeon 7s for mid-scale farms that bought them at scale, that were able to get their hands on a lot of them. I think I see some of these going onto the market and finally sort of restoring balance to the GPU markets for the secondary use cases like gaming, scientific computing, machine learning, whatever else. And in particular for AMD cards, OpenCL uses like content creation and such. I really do see that happening. And when that happens, I'm going to be extremely excited to get my hands on a few more of those and use them like really for more content creation than anything else. But I don't know. Hopefully that happens. You tell me what you think in the comments section. Do you think that the Radeon 7, that we're going to see more of them over the next several months as Ethereum goes away? And if so, I don't know. Like, you think it's going to be Radeon 7 or it's going to be some of the other Vega cards, like Vega 56, Vega 64, and the Vega Frontier Edition? Tell me in the comments. But that's the Radeon 7. Let's get a composite of our 5000 and 6000 series cards. We'll use the 6800 and the 5600 XT with 60% of the resulting hash rate and profit that will go towards the 6000 series card. Let's calculate that. And Ethereum, top of the list, $6.08. Ravencoin at $4.43. Significant drop down from there. Ethereum Classic, also a significant drop down, which again, guys, this is confusing to me. How we see on some of these other hardware profiles that Ethereum Classic and Ravencoin profits are really, really close. What that tells me again is that you've got this really, really great memory bandwidth, and you got this really, really great memory speed on some of these HBM2 cards or some of these newer architectures with GDDR6, but you don't have matching core strength. If you did, you'd have better scores on Prog Pow and you'd see better profitability. Then again, in this lineup, I'm a little bit confused because I'm seeing that the Prog Pow numbers bring Ravencoin up high, even though Ethereum profitability is higher. I guess I just would have expected to see Ethereum Classic profits and Ravencoin profits a little bit closer, but that's clearly not how it pans out for some of these cards, the 5000 and 6000 series cards from AMD. Going to Team Green, let's go to our value and efficiency play. 1060, 1660, 2060, and 3060. We'll get all four of those together. And as we know, we'll get closer to like 40% that goes to that 3060, the latest version or the latest revision. Ethereum, not Ethereum Classic, is at the top of the list at $6.12 every single day. Kapow for Ravencoin is at $5.02 per day. Firo makes the finishers stand, right? It makes the leaderboard number 3 at $4.33 per day, so a significant drop from Ravencoin. And then Zano is back in sight again, right? It's back somewhere in that range of profitability at $3.97 per day. Got a couple comments coming in through the live comments stream right now, guys. We are live, and I am taking your comments. We're not at that phase of growth where I require any kind of like super chat or whatever to be able to address your comments. I want to hold off on that for as long as I can, so please do. Let's be interactive, and let me know what your questions are as we go throughout the evening, guys. That's like, this is a pleasure for me. This is one of the ways that I socialize. I know it's pathetic, but like this is important for me, my mental health, my emotional well-being. Hopefully we can make it a great conversation for everybody. We can all look out for each other here. But Golden Wolf says, yeah, I'm curious about the new AMD cards too. Barry says, I bought one of the last Radeon Pro 7s from B&H. That's awesome that you found them. Because of that limited edition run of them, they became very hard to find, as you know, for a while. Bang & Turf is still not in bed, even though he's got work early in the morning, and says, any reason why my 5 out of 7 S7 ASIC miners is going inactive? Been trying different pools and URLs, but nothing seems to keep my ASICs online. I'm still here and should be asleep, LOL. Yeah, so Nemesis is handling that. We got some great peer assistance there in the comment section, and he responds by saying, when was the last time you cleaned them? Temperature will shut them down. He's got a great point there. You don't necessarily have to fully take off the heat sinks. It helps if you do. You do all the way down. I need to probably release a video that I shot a few months ago, and where I use the Tech Yes City method of cleaning off IT in bulk, and I know it's going to make you guys cringe. It absolutely is. Nemesis can probably attest to this also, but you can use brake cleaner on PCBs without damaging the finish. You can use brake cleaner on most IT components, and it'll come right off afterwards. Greg is saying air compressor, but what I'm saying is even more so. Depending on the environment, you can get rid of some environmental lipid buildup, right? Some grease buildup, whatever else, by having a tiny bit of brake cleaner sprayed strategically in areas that need it, and then make sure it's totally cleaned off after the fact. It will dry, though, as you know, brake cleaner. And dude, if you work with your hands and you've been in a garage or whatever, you haven't had your nitrile gloves on, your hands get greasy. If you haven't used brake cleaner on your hands, you haven't lived. Straight up. You just haven't, right? Like, that's just like a thing. It's a rite of passage, right? Like, you don't always have Gojo lying around, but you always have brake cleaner, right? So just get that right off your hands. Anyway, got a couple comments coming in from some Goblin Losers saying, I have to get a hold of you, Nemesis, to want to spend the time. If you want to spend the time. Guys, I'm just going to say on behalf of Nemesis that he is a pro. He really knows what he's doing. And please don't abuse his time. He's also extremely giving. Don't be abusive of his time. It's a good dude. Give you the shirt off his back kind of dude, so don't take advantage of it, right? Be targeted in your questions, and if he gives you an answer like, hey, I don't have time for that, be cool about it, all right? Anyway, he's being really generous with his time. Brad is in the comments saying, I got 3 cards for MSRP, 3070 Ti, 3090, FTW Ultra, and an FE 3060 Ti for about 4K. I'm curious if I should keep the 3090 FTW3 Ultra and sell the other 2. Ooh, that is a tough one. Hey, comment section, go ahead and engage with Brad and let him know what you think about that. That's a tough one because the resale on that 3090 is going to stay good for, as you know, only so long. Top of the line NVIDIA cards tend to hold on to the resale value really well, but it's not always perfect. The 1080 Ti, for example, came right back up to the $1,000 mark as Ethereum mining became profitable again. However, based on when you just said you bought your 3090, it's possible that, yeah, you'll recoup a lot more of what you spent on those cards by selling it now at peak value before having to wait a while and seeing it return to profitability. Not advice there, guys, but that's an interesting situation that Brad is in. Let him know what you think in the comment section. Okay, jumping back into some of the profitability charts here, guys. That is our value and efficiency play. We saw Firo right pop up in the listings there, or pop up in the profitability lineup there. Go with our top of the line 1080 Ti, 1660S, 2080 Ti, and 3090. Let's calculate for the profits, and we've got Ethereum top of the list, 1317. Feels good, guys. Oh, feels good. Hold on, I gotta go large screen. Oh. Yes. Finally, profits are up a little bit for these heavier hitting cards. They've been kind of stuck around the $12 mark for a while. I know it's not a lot, guys, but we're fighting for every inch of ground we get here right now in this market. So good to see it over $13 every single day. Raven Coin, a distant second at 926 between those cards. And again, just as a reminder, the 3090 in this lineup does represent about 50% of both the hash rate and the resulting profit for all of these calculations we see here, roughly. And then we've got Firo in a not so distant third place, 856 per day. And then Ethereum Classic at 837, with Ergo also, there you go, on the leaderboard at 849. Any of those would be just fine. We've got Conflux still there as well, which not super low, but really not as high profit as the others. Definitely Ethereum. I mean, the case is going to be made for Ethereum until it stops being profitable, of course, with these heaviest hashing cards, right? More profits from that to do with what you will. You want to go buy Firo? Buy Firo. I got some other like speculative coin that you really think is going to moon or whatever. I mean, you're getting over $6 a day on that 3090. That's a good dollar cost average that you're getting for free, right? In some of those speculative coins, if that's the way you want to do it. So without giving you advice, that's what I see when I look at these charts. All right, that's our profitability for GPUs. Let's take a look at our cost to mine one full Bitcoin, starting with the Antminer S9. That's always our baseline configuration, and we're always going to use the residential cost for power that we had before. Clearly, profits are up because the break-even price for mining on an S9 has gone up to 16.4 cents per kilowatt hour. At 14 cents, we're mining one full Bitcoin at $32,000, so at a bare profit. It's not looking good. If you can, you need to co-locate your S9 to at least 8 cent power, or you need to have it located at 8 cent power, running on 8 cent power for yourself, at which point you'll be mining one full Bitcoin at $18,300 per Bitcoin. Not terrible. Not a terrible price for Bitcoin. You've heard me say it before. Even if we do retrace and retest for bottom support somewhere in the teens, $18,000 Bitcoin that is permissionless and paid directly to your wallets is a great deal. in my mind. That's just what I think. So that's 8 cent power. Let's take a look at 5 cent power. And I think this is where you got the strongest case for mining on the S9. You've got to be co-located to get lower than this, but at 5 cent power, it's starting to make sense. And it's starting to make sense for the next little while. I won't say the foreseeable future, but for the next little while, 5 cent power makes the Antminer S9 a no-brainer. You can actually mine on it. Let's move to our second model. We always use the MicroBT, the WhatsMiner M20S, phenomenal counterpoint to the Antminer S9. And at 5 cent power, you're picking up one full Bitcoin at $6.5 grand, right? I mean, nobody has any questions about whether or not you should be mining one full Bitcoin at $6.5 grand in the current market. It's been said by some people, and people who I trust, right? Technicians, right? Technical analysts and people who study these markets, even fundamental analysts in Bitcoin, that the new bottom support is very, very likely. Like the basement floor for Bitcoin is very likely at 5 figures now, somewhere around $10,000. Don't know if that's definitely literally true, but if it is, then getting one full Bitcoin for $6,500 is a steal, because it's only ever going to be more profitable than that, only ever going to be more valuable than that. So if you mine it at that amount, you're doing great. And if you're co-located with the M20S at that power rate, you're doing awesome. Bringing it back up to 8 cents per kilowatt hour, which you can find, but it's rare here in the United States. $10,500 is what you're going to get that Bitcoin for. But then bringing it up to the residential rate, the average, 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and now you're buying your Bitcoin at $18,416 using the M20S by MicroBT. Needless to say, you see, like right here, you see the numbers, right? At 14 cents per kilowatt hour, you can make the business case for the M20S as a residential miner, somebody just mining at home who just wants to, mind their own business and do their own thing at home, have some things in the basement, maybe a few rigs, maybe even do liquid immersion cooling or something, and just really stay low key. You can do that, but I don't see why you'd want to if you could co-locate at those lower rates and shave off, nearly half of that price for Bitcoin. You're just going to do so much better with a lower power rate on the MicroBT M20S. All right, guys, this is the point at which I want to ask you, are there any mining pool stats that you want me to look up using miningpoolstats.stream? I'll leave it to you, right? And you know what? Our most recent Super Chat winner for this evening's stream, the highest Super Chat, came from Daniel Keller of the Flux Network. So what I'm going to do is, while we wait for some comments from our live audience, I'm going to take a look at that on miningpoolstats.stream. Flux is currently at a net hash of 61.97 kilosouls. And if you're not familiar with the nomenclature here, that stands for solutions per second. Equihash and variants of Equihash use souls instead of hashes, right? So solutions, and we call them souls. It's kind of fun. But kilosouls with the top pool going to fluxpools.net. 2 miners, and then the solo pool at 2 miners are second and third respectively, and they're helping to break it up just a little bit, but it still looks like fluxpools.net does have greater than 50% of the hash rate. Maybe not more than 51%, though. It looks like it could have more than 51% of the current hash rate right now. Looks like, I'm sorry, the pools have 61.97 kilosouls. The network and net hash is actually 66.18 kilosouls overall. So we got, hold on, some Goblin Loser asking, so are we moving away from Ethermine? Well, for this coin in particular, no. This is, we're just talking about the Flux network and the Flux token that we receive from mining to it. There's also a bit of a block reward that goes to some of the Flux nodes, and so there's block reward being paid out there. There's opportunity there. However, as I understand it right now, all of the security of the Flux network is done through proof of work, so GPU mining and keeping it decentralized is pretty important still. But fluxpools.net, really high on the list, 1% prop payout, and then on 2 miners, you got PPLNS, and then solo mining available. Zerg Pool also does 0.5% at prop. That might be a way to go there if you want to get that 0.5% shaved off of the pool fee. And then Miner Pool is doing solo mining, and Solo Pool is doing solo mining for Flux at 1.5%. That seems like it's a really tough value proposition. Zero Pool is at 2% and 0 souls. Wah. Sorry, guys. Looks like bottom of the list, a bare bones minimum for mining Flux. We've got NL Pool in Netherlands at 86 solutions per second. Okay, this is literally one person mining to this pool, I think. Wooly Pulley has 271. 2 Mars Biz, coin blockers. Guys, I could practically launch a Flux pool at this point and have more hash rate than these guys. That's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I'm not going to tell them to stop, right? I don't want to disparage anybody, but I wonder what's going on there. And why are we also centralized over on fluxpools.net, at least for Flux? Anyway, guys, let me know if there's another pool you want me to take a look at. If not, I'm going to jump ahead to our GPU mining portfolio. All right, here we are, GPU mining coins or GPU mineable coins with wrapped representations of Bitcoin at the very top of the list. If you're new to the show, let me explain why I do this. I do this not because you can mine Bitcoin directly with your GPUs, which I guess you could if you aggregated it on NiceHash or you rented out your hash rate on miningrogrentals.com. I got a link for that down in the description if you want to try that out. I think it's a much more conscientious way to rent out your hash rate instead of going to nicehash.com. But you're just receiving Bitcoin. You're not actually securing Bitcoin. You're not getting it natively. I show wrapped representations of Bitcoin because with Ethereum and decentralized exchanges / AMMs, things like Uniswap and the Uniswap protocol, we can trade our Ethereum, trade our Ether for wrapped Bitcoin right away. Hey guys, we got Greg who is calling it a night. If you do me a solid, everybody say goodnight to Greg. Really give him a hand wave. And Greg, thanks so much for hanging out with us for as long as you could tonight. It's great to see you, man. Glad you're feeling well enough to join us. All right, so we got here in the top of the list, Ren BTC and wrapped Bitcoin. Let's do a little bit of my reasons for having Ren BTC here and not just WBTC. You might be saying like, hey, so wrapped Bitcoin, that's a cool thing. Yankee. All right, I'm gonna show Yankee's comment here. It's great. Wrapped. We love each other. We show it different ways. So wrapped Bitcoin WBTC is actually fairly centralized, and the terms of the smart contract allow them to mint and burn and allow them to have a little bit more remote wallet control than I'm comfortable with. Certainly, it doesn't really capture the ethos of Bitcoin, where no third party can censor your wallet, right? Ren BTC is a little bit less centralized, just a bit. And I'm looking forward to a time where we have even less centralized representations of Bitcoin on Ethereum. But I have it here on the list because with our Ether, if you do want to mine Ethereum and get the maximum profit per day, you can take your profits, and whether you take them on over Polygon network, the way that I have been from Ethermine, or you receive your profits natively on Ethereum, you can get Ren BTC or other wrapped Bitcoin representations. And now you can see, you can experience all the price appreciation of Bitcoin, but mine Ethereum and keep it within a DeFi structure where you can quickly swap back and forth permissionlessly. Now, this is not me saying that this is as good as Bitcoin or better than Bitcoin. It's just for price appreciation, but it's one way that you can use your Ethereum to gain more alpha, right? To get a better percentage up in your portfolio. And we see right here how both of these representations of Bitcoin have outperformed Ethereum in the same amount of time, right? These are both over $1,000 and Ethereum is still nearing $900. They've just done a little better. Over 24 hours, though, our portfolio here has gone up by 2.5%. We see about $309, but our total P&L for the portfolio is negative 29.94. Moving down the list, Ravencoin is there, but it's not doing great. It's still in the mid 700s. Same with Ethereum Classic. Same with Zono. Same with Polygon. Same with Rio. Guys, we haven't really seen a whole lot of shift there. In terms of the middle of the pack, they're not doing very great in terms of their portfolio value since we put $1,000 of each into our paper tracker here, our paper portfolio. None of this is real crypto, by the way. All of these here, these are all $1,000 of paper money, right? It's not real. Gallo asks in the comment section, excuse my ignorance, how do you unwrap that BTC? Hey, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. So there are various exchanges that will allow you to trade that out. Another way you can do it is on a decentralized exchange, simply trade this representation of Bitcoin for Tether and then transfer that into an exchange, right? A centralized exchange. If you want to swap for their Bitcoin, where maybe they have more liquidity on an exchange that you prefer. Maybe you're already KYC'd at some place like Binance or Kraken or something. So they might not list these wrapped Bitcoin representations there. If they do, of course, you can just transfer it directly to your exchange wallet there, and you can trade that way, and you can unwrap, so to speak, that way. Plus, there are some smart contracts that should release the native Bitcoin back out to a Bitcoin wallet. I haven't gone through those full steps just yet, so I still remain in a bit of ignorance myself. But it's a great question. I want to learn more about it, and like we were saying earlier on in the episode, I'm going to stay curious and try to find out more about that, so that we have a more definitive answer and maybe even a how-to before we live stream again. But great question. So towards the bottom of the list, Haven still really low. Price is about $350. Market cap is still doing fine. We're seeing an up and to the right movement, but it's still down over 70%. And I still maintain that this price for Haven is a tremendous discount. If you have faith in the Haven project, I'm not telling you what to think here or what to buy. If you have faith in the Haven project, I think this is some of the best pricing that you're going to see for a while, right? As far as the last good time to buy it before it ran up to, I think, $28 per coin, it's been a while, right? It's been quite a while. Been over a year since it was this range, or close to a year since it was in this range. So even though it comes from the result of it being hacked, I think because the developer team is paying attention to it, might be still a good time to see your entry point and take a closer look at it, decide whether or not it's a good coin for you to have. Swap is still really low on the list. It's not recovering as fast. Last hour, clearly there's no data from the network. Let me just go ahead and refresh this, because this could be a problem with CoinGecko, or it could be a problem with the Block Explorer, bad RPC call or something for the swap network. I hope they're okay. But last hour, we're not getting any data on them. And last 7 days, they're up, but still struggling to get to a $500,000 market cap. This is a project that's been around for a while, and their history is a little bit spotty, right? Just a little bit. So I've been strongly considering maybe taking this off the portfolio. I don't think I'm going to do that yet. I still think it's important to have coins on here that don't trade at 5 BTC per day like we look at when we're mining, but look at coins that maybe are good moonshots, or maybe just are interesting. Ravenboy Crypto says, well, past my bedtime, got to write some code in the morning or some things. Thanks for the info. I learn something new every time I watch your stream. Thank you so much, Ravenboy Crypto. Really appreciate you being here. Really appreciate you saying that. Have a good one. So BitTube is also kind of, it's making a recovery, but I'm not really sure. Not really sure how those spikes are happening. I know there are some BitTube whales out there that are interested in seeing the price go back up to even within, close to 1 cent. It's been as high as 15 cents in the past, and it has fallen significantly since all-time high. I don't know what to expect from that coin either. Firo still holding on for dear life, right, by its fingernails, but it's nowhere near its former glory either. It's just profitable to mine right now. That's our GPU portfolio. Moving into hard drive mining. For hard drive mining, guys, we still got MadeSafe coin carrying the portfolio like a champ, and it's just doing great. 24-hour change, we're up almost $200, but total profit and loss down 20%. Still, this is our best side of the portfolio, is the hard drive mining coins. I'm a little bit surprised by this. They've done extremely well since we made this little portfolio. But bottom of the list is still Chia, and it's still down bad. Still down 75%, which is just rough. So still below $200, but it's getting its way back up, clawing its way back up, maybe over $200 soon. Siacoin in second to last place, and storage in second place, but everything else in between is just really kind of struggling as well. It's that MadeSafe coin that's really carrying this portfolio, so maybe don't read into this PNL too much, or the fact that this is our best portfolio too much, because it's really MadeSafe. All right. Some Goblin Loser asks in the live stream, the live comments, have you seen Ashton Kutcher's social media? Apparently he had a meeting with Vitalik Buterin. Yes, I did see that, and apparently Vitalik is participating in as a voiceover actor for a cartoon NFT that Ashton Kutcher's wife, Mila Kunis, is producing or creating. So, I mean, that's big for them. I wonder how it's going to do. It might do really well. There are NFT collectors who love stuff like that, and so it might do either like really, really well, but this is crypto too. I wouldn't be shocked if people see it and they're like, I don't want it, and they just pan it, right? Like, you can never really tell. You can't really call winners in this space, even with NFTs. It can be really difficult to know what's gonna perform. But yes, I did see that, and that was interesting. It was a fun little vignette that the three of them did on Twitter the other day. But they probably started on Instagram. They're traditionally good-looking people. I'm pretty sure that Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher do very well on Instagram. But CPU mineable coins, we've got Raptorium still at the top of the stack with very interesting spikes on the way up, but a generally positive trend. You see right there, there's a bottom. The support line is trending upward, so that's awesome. Monero is second place, but it's over $200 as well per coin, which is exciting for Monero heads and privacy advocates. Raptorium, however, is our only coin that's over $1,000, so it's the only one keeping its head above water. And then Varus coin still with the weird mesas and the very strange formation. It's not really finding bottom support. It is testing resistance at the top, but it's testing resistance at a line that looks like it has been there for a while. I kind of want to open that up, and let's take a closer look at that if we can. And then Monero just doing its thing, just chilling, but not outpacing Doge anymore. It's decoupled from Doge completely. But here it is, with a very strong market cap and still positive trend, doing okay. Total P&L for this side of the portfolio is negative 24%, and our 24-hour gain is $122 US, if we want to measure it that way. ASIC portfolio. Top of the line. Oh, Bitcoin. Yes. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's trot out some applause for that, shall we? Some applause. Bitcoin is back. Back at the top of the list. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, folks. Bitcoin is back at the top of the ASIC mineable list, and it's nearing the $1,000 mark. Right there, you can see it's at $955 from the $1,000 that we put into the portfolio before. So, the crypto market is healing. It's healing itself. Nature is returning. The birds have begun chirping again. Bitcoin is number one. So, portfolio is looking okay there. You kind of expect to see this, right? You normally do. Horizon still at the very bottom of this list, but it's down by 44.9%, which compared to some of the other sides of the portfolio is not as bad as, say, Chia, still at 75% down. Horizon down by 44.9%, though, is not great. Not a great look for them. The trend is positive, though, with a weird dip, really largely mimicking Bitcoin's, it looks like, but more exaggerated on that downward dip, and then doing a bit of a almost like a weird head and shoulders there, or a double top right there so far, and it is retracing back. Brad is asking in the comments, does anyone have any ideas? Good question. So guys, go ahead and let's re-engage Brad's question from before. Brad had that question about getting 3 cards for MSRP, and you can read that in the live comments if you are here live right now. Do me a solid and engage Brad's question. I mean, without him taking advice from total strangers, at least we can help him think about some different things. We might be able to help somebody else from the community. So do me a solid and engage that question. Try to give him, in a friendly way, a piece of your mind. So middle of this portfolio is still Dash, and now Pirate Chain coming up with a much less weird looking chart than way before. It was kind of running more sideways than some of the other coins, but still experienced the pump with every other coin that experienced that same pump. No weird downturn though. So yeah, kind of interesting how that worked out. Zcash second to last in the lineup as well, with a much more volatile chart, but that just looks kind of realistic. There are old school Zcash maximalists, and it's kind of a strange thing that exists out in the world, but there are some privacy advocates and privacy maximalists that are totally into Zcash and not into Monero, and vice versa. So yeah, shouldn't be too shocking there. We've got Magitas in the live comments saying Raptorium still winning, beats Bitcoin even. Woohoo! Yep, pretty cool, pretty exciting to see. The Raptorium team is doing great work, they're staying diligent about what they said they would do. It's taken them some time. Small project, but they're doing awesome work. So you love to see people win who've been working hard, So that is our list there. Dash is also a weird chart. It was crawling sideways while everything else was coming up and recovering. And then that interesting little shelf right there looks a lot more like a tiny little head and shoulders, a tiny little head popping up there. Very interesting chart indeed. Those are all of our mineable alts and mineable coins. I'm going to jump into the Varus coin page on CoinGecko because it just looks too weird. I've got this morbid curiosity. I need to know. I need to see it. Even if I don't like what I see, I've got to see it. And we see this chart. This is the best chart for CoinGecko. It doesn't really do candlestick charts particularly well, but it looks like down here the volume has been in the 5 figures for a while, right? So look, 50k, 55k, 56, 58, 60k during those intervals, and it looks like that is, yeah, this is over the last 24 hours, so that's more frequent. But 7-day shows us something more. And it looks like the 7-day, we've got a volume as low as 8,000 and then pumping way up to 80 consistently, and then down to 13,000 and then pumping way up to 50. Guys, this is textbook manipulation. I don't know who's doing it, but that's a very bad sign for a project that's established and that has hardworking developers trying to build. Whoever is doing this, if you're part of the community, if you're a whale in the Varus coin community or a whale in the Varus coin project, stop it. Stop what you're doing. This makes the coin look bad. It makes it look uninvestable. It makes it look untouchable. It makes miners look at this kind of a coin, and if it's profitable, makes us want to dump it. Market dump it the moment we get it. Not hold it, not be a part of the community. Because this looks fake. This looks manipulated. So if you're watching and you're into Varus and you care about Varus, go talk to Nick, go talk to Frank, go talk to all of the project leadership and ask them directly. And Nick and Frank, if you're watching, guys, we've had some good chats. Whoever's doing this, discourage this, okay? Ask them to stop. Ask them not to manipulate this price. This is not a good look. It's really, really not good. That's in the last 7 days alone. Let's take a look at 14 days. You know, maybe over the last 14 days, that's not the same issue as we saw before. There are these weird spikes though from before, even without the increased volume, and I'm not sure what that comes from. Again, I've said it before, it looks highly manipulated. I can't see it backed by volume here. It could still be wash trading at smaller intervals, but it's just kind of weird. So I'm going to stick by what I said before, guys. If it's manipulation, and if anybody within the sound of my voice has the ability to help advocate for change, then advocate for change. Ask for this to stop. Please. It's weird. So anyway, that's the Varus coin project. And again, know people who are working on it. You guys are better than this. You're better. You're idealists. I talked to you. You're better than this. Don't let it happen. All right. So that's our portfolio right there, guys. Taking a look at our Bitcoin chart. This is what I like to call the chopsticks trying to grab a noodle line. That's what this is. Chopsticks trying to grab a noodle. That's our range, right? It's an ascending triangle. And from that little pump that we saw before, those are our wicks up right there. And I cut that right through the last wick up right there before we went kind of crazy yesterday live on stream. And then brought the lower wicks here all the way up to right about there, a target of, say, 38.7. Do I think that's realistic? Man, I don't know. Like I've said before, you could literally give me magic markers and I'd draw the same lines here because that's how much I know about this. But an ascending triangle there it doesn't seem unreasonable, right? We just passed through 38,000. So Nemesis, you like that? It's my patented chopsticks pattern. Yes. Watch out. Elliott waves. Watch out. Bollinger Bands. Here comes Seth Estrada's chopsticks. Coming for you guys. Every trader is going to be using chopsticks now. So, yeah. I mean, we'll use chopsticks when we're all eating ramen after we get wrecked, right? So it'll be true. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Use chopsticks now so you can eat with chopsticks later. It's going to be great. But But yeah, we got the Bollinger Bands wrapping on the outside, guys. We're on the 2-hour time frame right now. I do not feel confident enough with my ability to read charts to drop way down into like 1 minute and 5 minute and even 15-minute charts. It just changes it so fundamentally that it makes me really, really nervous, if I'm being honest, guys. Like, I disclaim the heck out of these live streams because I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression of me being like, we should definitely make these moves, and definitely this is our target, and definitely this is your entry point, and we can totally like ride this chop out in the 30 to 40k channel. We're all gonna make money. We can make it all back in one trade. Yeah, to the moon, up only. Guys, the mania. I mean, we've been in crypto long enough. Don't you just get tired of this stuff? I mean, for real. Like, I can't, that could never be me. I can't do that. So anyway, I'm just trying to keep it very real here, right? Here's my indicator with the chopsticks. Again, I will try to draw it in crayon next time to make it a little more accurate, right? To my actual technical process, right? I'll use crayon. But I do, like, it's a sharp ascending triangle based on the last only 48 hours. It's way too little data, I think, but we are seeing volume go up, right? And we didn't see that before, right? During the lead up into it, volume kind of spiked, getting us up out of that slump, right? When we broke downward out of the range and then came back up. Again, yeah, no, I'm not, no, thank you. Not going to anything other than 2 hour right here. But let's zoom way, way out, guys. It's healthy, I think, to zoom way, way out. And zooming way, way out, go all the way back to the beginning of 2021, right? We were so innocent then. We were so young. We were like, hey, maybe $20,000? Can we get $20,000? And then boom, we did it. Right? And then we were like, hey, maybe can we get $30,000? And then boom, we did it. And we almost never looked back, right? We wicked downward out of 30K, and then a couple of times, but largely like the belly of that trend, right? That 200 moving average, 200-day moving average didn't really validate anybody saying like, oh yeah, definitely we're going to drop below 30K again, right? Like, we largely stayed in a channel of 30K for a while, and then came up again. There's the 200-day moving average popping way up and then barely above 50K. And then we popped up to 60, and our 200-day moving average went above 60 for a short time, stayed in 50. And then when things started to drop down, it was very quick to see that we just didn't stand a great likelihood of going back up. We've largely been trading, like, if you've been dollar cost averaging like me in this range here, right? This 30 to 40K range. Not bad, right? It's been a fun ride. It hasn't been too bad. That's been my take on it, guys. If anything, kind of a conservative look at it, like, all right, dollar cost averaging, I know how to do that, right? I know how to do that. And the calls for people to see like $10,000 Bitcoin or $15,000 Bitcoin or now like $18,000 or $20,000 Bitcoin. Like, I'm not going to disparage anybody, right? There's a lot of fear in the market. And so it's very easy to think like, oh no, things could really like dip really, really low. It could get really, really bad. But I'm just looking at the chart and seeing like, nah, this range has been kind of where we live. And now, once we dip down below it, some people just said, nope, not happening. We're not giving the institutions $20,000 Bitcoin. We're not giving the institutions $15,000 Bitcoin. And we pumped it right back up. The volume is way higher now. We've just recently hit this massive sell wall here, though, you see. The selling volume is especially high. It's higher than the buying volume was when we popped way up and ran towards 40K, or ran towards 39K, or got rejected at almost 40K here. Looks like apparently we got rejected at just above 40K earlier today as well before coming down. So I'm going to zoom in a bit more. Yeah, there we go. Our chopsticks are going horizontal now. Sorry, chopsticks. I love you. Don't go away. Keep the ramen warm. All right, but that's the top of our Bollinger Band there. Rejected, wicked way up, but the belly of the candle, right, or the head of the candle right there, still below 40, right? We're getting rejected at 40 repeatedly, and there we go. All that sell pressure, boom, way down to 3.7, making it back up, And I'm not going to make any kind of like a claim here, right? I don't know if this is a bull flag here. We're going to see a bull flag or a reversal. We could. I don't know if it's going to happen now, right? Live on the stream or whatever. But you see in the range that we're moving in right now, my little end point for the ascending triangle, the ascending chopsticks. It's guys, that's what we're going to call them now: ascending chopsticks and descending chopsticks. Screw triangles. We need chopsticks, right? Let's keep things fun again, right? Let's bring a little bit of that whole DeFi sushi swap mentality over to Bitcoin. Yeah, have a little more fun with it. But it doesn't seem too weird, right? That possible convergence right there at about 38.5. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is where we live for a little while until we see another significant event. And I don't know what kind of like news would have to happen in order to get people a little bit more bullish and see the kind of selling order or buying orders come in. Yep, I don't really know what it would take. China FUD, we've been there, done that, right? And a lot of the hash rate's coming back online. So I don't know what kind of news it would take. Maybe Amazon, right? Like I published earlier today. Apparently there are rumors that it's totally FUD, right? That it's totally fabricated. And I've got some thoughts about that too, guys. As far as potentially Amazon taking payments in Bitcoin, guys, I just don't see it, really. So like, I stumbled across this in some old stuff that I had in my office. And gosh, when did I buy this? Well, I bought it when Radio Shack was still around, right? Here are some custom diodes, right? Custom LEDs, some ultraviolet LEDs. And I bought a bunch of these, what are these? These are 5mm ultraviolet LEDs because I wanted to make my own scorpion hunting flashlight. My own blacklight, essentially. But handheld blacklight. And I wanted to put it into... Oh, this is great. I get to nerd out with you guys. Maybe it's right here in this... Nope. Not there. I don't have it handy for show and tell, guys. I apologize. But I wanted a headlamp, right? A head-mounted torch. I wanted it to be able to go hands-free scorpion hunting. And I couldn't find anything offhand as far as like a scorpion hunting head-mounted lamp. So I wanted to make my own. And I bought a bunch of these at Radio Shack. Well, I would never go do this at Radio Shack now. I'd get this sort of thing at Amazon. But this was like $4. Maybe in the little parts area of Radio Shack, if you guys remember, if you ever went there to get your little parts for little like breadboards and little like custom circuitry and fun projects at home, like that's where you would go, right? To go personally get all your little pieces of hardware and electronics and stuff, and like voltage regulators and transistors, whatever else, right? Some goblin loser. Ooh, what is a Radio Shack? Yeah, that's a good question. What is a Circuit City too? I literally have a camera from Circuit City when they went out of business because I was like, heck yeah, I don't care that this is like everything I know is going to be totally crushed and my life is going to change forever. I want a cheap camera. Anyway. So yeah, MC says, holy crap, Radio Shack is old school. Loved that place. I did too, right? It was so great. Now you got to order these things sight unseen or know exactly what it is that you want, and you order it on Amazon. Long story short, if you spent $4 on Amazon in Bitcoin, come on, really? Really? Would you do that? Well, let's take a look at TX Street again. Well, right now, the median fee for Bitcoin on a transaction is 81 cents. 81 cents. Would you go to a local retailer and spend 81 cents for the privilege of using Bitcoin in order to buy stuff? And that's cheap right now. As you know, Bitcoin can be more pricey than that, as you know, right? Like you've seen the TX fees go higher than that, especially right now with Bitcoin at its current price. Going back to the chart, like live data right now with Bitcoin at $37,000, seeing what we saw before, knowing what we know about the potential for Bitcoin to run way up, way higher, would you really go spend $4 for crap like this in Bitcoin? I don't think I would anymore. And I think that's one of the game theory problems of the concept of hyper-Bitcoinization and moves in places like El Salvador. And I'm going to get some pushback here, guys, I know. But some of the people who work in commerce in El Salvador are the ones who are pushing back against the move to accept it as legal tender. Not because they don't want to have Bitcoin, but because they don't want to be forced to accept it and try to figure out where to use it, and in some cases be forced to spend it, if that makes sense. If you see the volatility, sudden drop down in your purchasing power, well, they're a dollarized country. It's not nearly as volatile for them, right? You figure making the like imagine if, for example, you bought something as trivial as this, and then within 14 days, your entire net worth dropped by 75% because you bought something like this. Can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, like, guys, in other places of the world, it's like life or death. Your finance is life or death. Like your kid could die because you can't get food, right? And yeah, just crazy. Like some of the decisions that we take for granted, it's not as simple for them as like, oh, well, just dollar cost average. Don't worry about it. Hold on, you're gonna be fine. Hey, Golden Wolf is saying, okay, guys, stay savage. Got to drive home. Hey, appreciate that, guys. Yep, for sure. There's for savage. Keep it savage for sure. Thank you for being by or stopping by with us and taking a look. So I apologize, guys. Did I do a little anti-Bitcoin diatribe? I lost some viewers just now. They're like, hey, you know what? You sound like you're anti-Bitcoin. I'm not anti-Bitcoin, bro. I literally put it into my logo. I love Bitcoin, what it stands for. But the point is that little stuff like this, the tiny expenses, if I had to get this today and then I decided, like, you know what? I actually need something else. Oh, you know what? I've got to do my next Bitcoin full node project. So I need some more hardware. Buy some of this from Amazon. Another 81 cents. Oh, you know what? That was the wrong size. Got to get another one. 81 cents again for transfer fees. Oh, you know what? I've got a couple of, I'm missing a couple of Allen wrenches. Need a little kit. 81 cents. You see what I mean? Getting nickel and dimed, like the way that we're used to doing online like e-commerce and dealing with e-commerce nowadays and dealing with a retailer like Amazon. I wouldn't want to spend my Bitcoin there. So the news coming out of Amazon that they'll accept Bitcoin for me is not necessarily bullish. In fact, it's just the opposite. So many microtransactions take place there. The transaction fees alone would just, it would hemorrhage the mempool, hemorrhage the ecosystem by just switching Amazon to it. I mean, it would represent the largest shift in Bitcoin acceptance of any online retailer. And that's including Newegg that accepted Bitcoin in years past and then stopped, right? Newegg accepted Bitcoin and then cut off Bitcoin payments back in the day, if you recall. So we've tried it, right? We've tried this, but never at the scale of Amazon. So I have some concerns about Amazon potentially taking it. And that's before you even talk about the fact that it's an online reseller marketplace. Amazon doesn't sell and ship everything, as you know, right? There are resellers there. So for resellers to get on board and be like, okay, well, are you going to hold Bitcoin native payments to pay us out? Can I get cashed out in Bitcoin? Or is this just going to pad Amazon's balance sheet with Bitcoin from the customers that just give them Bitcoin, right? Like, have I said Bitcoin enough in the last 15 seconds? Probably not. Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. What was that? Bitcoin. All right. So with Amazon, that with the rumors of Amazon potentially accepting Bitcoin as payment, guys, I just don't see it going the way that they see it going. You figure, as far as like Lightning channels, Amazon itself, right? Amazon itself could open a completely novel implementation of Lightning Network, or because there's already 3, right? As far as Lightning payments go, they could run all of their own Lightning infrastructure on AWS because they literally power the world, right? Netflix runs on AWS. Every service that you want to use runs on AWS. I'm sure there's even some infrastructure in between some of the services that I'm using right now that runs on AWS. Not despite the fact that we're using a Google product over on YouTube and they have their own cloud infrastructure. AWS does so much that it's impossible to get away from their internet infrastructure, right? They could totally run their own Lightning payment subnetwork or second layer solution that's completely novel, right? And open up bespoke Lightning channels for various different sides of their business. Just a few Lightning channels just for like Kindle self-publishing, some that are just for merch by Amazon, some that are just for Prime Direct Video, some that are just for the main marketplace, right, of Amazon Marketplace, some that are just for smile.amazon.com, right? They could have all of their own Lightning Network infrastructure. They'd still have to teach consumers how to use that and then convince consumers, even in microtransactions, that it's like, okay, it's not going to cost you 81 cents, but you have the opportunity cost of spending $4 on this and then having Bitcoin's price run up the way it did from this to this. Your $4 is now worth $5. Haha, thanks, suckers. We got your money. We got your Bitcoin. I just don't see that as the best way to get people involved. And it's frustrating because I would rather see a circular Bitcoin economy among different people who offer services and goods than to see this massively commercial Bitcoin economy, right? With like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and all this other stuff that's like totally nonsensical. But there are problems, right? Because there are some problems in terms of accepting Bitcoin right now. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. Not impossible. I know, not impossible. I remain hopeful, but there are problems, right? We have to look at that eyes wide open in order to continue to see Bitcoin's use cases grow and the adoption grow properly. Whew. Yeah, a little bit of counterparty risk there, guys. At any rate, as you know, I sell merch on my store at mineyourbiz right now. I sell non-custodial crypto. I am using coinpayments.net right now. I'm not having things settled directly in my own wallets right now. They do settle very quickly to my own wallets, but I have some coins that are immediately swapped for other coins just because, and some coins that are immediately pegged to stablecoin. Straight up, I have some right now because of a bit of the volatility in current markets with certain coins and the breadth of coins that I accept. But with Bitcoin, right? I don't want to eat ramen. I don't want to give you my $4 and see it turn into $5. That's a bit of a problem, right? The game theory is a bit of an issue there. But guys, let me jump into the live comments here, catch up real fast. I've got another article for you that I think is really, really, really awesome, really important. But you guys let me know anything else that you want me to cover, any other questions you have for tonight's session. But jumping back into the comment section. Nemesis is saying El Salvador vendors can exchange Bitcoin to cash very easily. I get that. I do. I get that. But there's always counterparty risk still. That's the issue. Going to market. If my $4 that I pay you today is worth $5 tomorrow, I feel cheated. I'm less likely to pay you $4 believing that it could turn into $5. And El Salvador system doesn't solve that counterparty risk in the volatility. It just allows those who receive it to cash out to dollars right away. And again, using that same example, if I accept Bitcoin at the point of sale and your $4 paid to me becomes $5 tomorrow, then I'd be crazy not to hold on to it, right? So it's a tough one. It's a balance. It's not an easy one for most people, especially if they haven't been taught to, for example, settle with their suppliers and their supply chain to a certain amount, and then think about with receiving Bitcoin the way we do in our store. Think about the difference in Bitcoin, that profit margin, as like just a way to subsidize your entry point into Bitcoin and get exposure in a dollar cost average fashion, right? So take some education. And if you're far more price sensitive in a country like El Salvador, you're going to be like, hey, I can't do that. My kids are going to starve, right? I can't do that. That means my youngest child will never have the opportunity to get an education and break out of poverty, right? Like there are real consequences for being unwise with finance and making the wrong purchase in places like this. But looking at some of the other comments here, but again, the thing is, I do largely agree with you. It's great to see adoption, but man, just having a law that says we accept it is not even the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more work that has to happen. Let's see what other relevant comments we have here. We got John Germain saying, haha, when fees were higher, BitPay wanted $52 to add $50 to my MasterCard. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Yeah, so I remember, right, in 2017 and in 2017 largely, 2018 as well, when fees were, like unreasonably high. That, geez, I cannot even imagine that. Okay. This is funny though. So Nemesis is saying Newegg still accepts BTC. and not that I say to use it there. So actually, Nemesis, it stopped accepting. It stopped receiving it. It may have launched BTC payments again, but Newegg definitely did stop accepting Bitcoin payments. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Newegg live here, and I don't know that I'm gonna be able to find anything regarding Bitcoin payments without actually going all the way through a checkout system here. But I'm just gonna say that there was a point at which Newegg stopped accepting Bitcoin payments, and they were perfectly candid about it. We're just gonna stop. And yeah, others as well, including Wikipedia, right? Wikipedia stopped accepting Bitcoin payments as well. Kind of weird. But let's just see here. Or other comments here, guys. John Germain says psychopath executives. I agree. Man, executives and people in government, it's a job description that self-selects for psychopaths and sociopaths. Like, who else would want to have control over really large groups of people, right? Like, you would have to have at least a little bit of psychopath tendencies in you to want that. And you could be a benevolent psychopath, but psychopath nonetheless. Casual Mining says, not that I predicted it. Zotrack says, to me, it's circular economy. Yeah. I like the idea of circular economy. I like the idea of being able to use Bitcoin profits to purchase from suppliers and have them be on board with it, and then also be able to have full control over my cryptocurrencies and my own currency to then be able to peg to stablecoins if I need to, right? For certain payments. That's why, guys, that's why I've been sticking with coinpayments.net. There are some coins that I can immediately peg to stablecoins. And when I do that, that allows me to participate in DeFi to gain yield or to use the stablecoins to then pay off supply chain. And they'll immediately say like, okay, yeah, stablecoins, that's fine. It's a representation of the US dollar. Fine, we'll take it. Or use like Bitrefill, or Coin Payments has a back end that allows you to buy gift cards, right? Like Visa or MasterCard, prepaid cards. So you could use that if you had to, but it's a bit of a fiat loophole, right? So that's why I've gone that route for the most part for higher volume commerce. Nemesis says, it encourages savings, mind your biz. And I agree, but we have to educate large groups of people. Right, there are a large number of people in the world who are in not good financial circumstances because they were never taught how to save, because they may not have a cultural precedent for saving, or because there's a tribal or a larger cultural affinity for not saving, or a very good reason for sort of like tribal institutional knowledge of not saving, and just saying like, no, we don't do that because it's dangerous, because look at what happened over here. These people saved and the currency devalued, so it didn't matter anyway. Even people who were like filthy rich, what we would consider millionaires, if your currency gets dropped to 5% of its former value, it almost doesn't matter. You barely have enough money to just escape the city where you live. So in some cultures, like, they don't have a strong cultural affinity for saving. So that needs to be taught. And it needs to be demonstrated clearly in markets with a history of like, okay, you see how when you save over time, like with Bitcoin, over time, like approximately 200% appreciation year over year. And like nothing else performs quite like it. Bitcoin is exceptional in this way, but you have to teach people. Nayib Bukele in El Salvador has attempted to so far. But again, a free people should be allowed to voice their opinion, even if they're wrong, right? Like, they should be allowed to voice their opinion. So they're talking now. Let's see. John says, El Salvador, the government is taking loans to develop the volcano steam generators to power the country and crypto. The big bankers love it. They will ruin them. Yes, guys. Oh my gosh. Here's a book title for you. Confessions of an Economic Hitman. So we'll add something to the list. I read this recently. Let me see if I can find it live on Amazon here, since we're talking about Amazon. Oop. So Amazon. Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. Hey, there you go. if you're on Audible or have the Audible trial, that's free. But yeah, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. John Perkins was apparently somebody who operated as a guy who gave these kinds of predatory loans, like what John Germain is talking about. Predatory loans to smaller countries, like how El Salvador needs capital right now to build out the infrastructure to mine Bitcoin, which is ironic because at the moment that they have that, they'll be a net producer of Bitcoin in their country. But until they have it, all they've got are cool ideas, right? It takes money to build stuff. You can't just say, oh, sweet, we have a volcano. We're going to do geothermal power. Awesome. Build it. And then you can start mining, right? Until then, nobody cares. But the United States and this guy, John Perkins, talks about his job in developing predatory loans so that smaller countries would be indebted to them. The moment that El Salvador actually does become a net producer of Bitcoin, then great. The moment that Tonga becomes a net producer of Bitcoin because of kinetic wave energy recapture systems offshore, like buoys that actually take the kinetic motion, literal motion of the ocean and turns it into electricity and captures it without losing a ton of energy by running it across a really long cable back to the mainland, but having submersible data centers like the way that Microsoft has done it, right? Underwater data centers that then have Bitcoin mining facilities in them, then great. But I mean, just envisioning it, right? Just talking about it, you can see that is not cheap, right? Creating dinghies, creating buoys that generate electricity and then having a high capacity, high voltage, high wattage, or bare minimum, right? Like 480 volt line of consistent energy flow that goes down to a submersible data center container that can be maintained without any downtime or problems and can communicate to the Bitcoin network efficiently enough to produce enough hash rate to give them a net production of Bitcoin. Guys, these are cool ideas, but they cost real money. They're real engineering problems. So in some of these less served, like underserved and developing nations, it's going to be really difficult to definitely make that work. All right. So Confessions of an Economic Hitman, guys, that is on your reading list for the night tonight. I really want to strongly encourage you to take a look at this book and read about it, because we're at this point, we're at this inflection point with countries like El Salvador and like Tonga, right? If you have been on either Clubhouse, I met Lord Fusitua, and he's making the rounds in terms of PR now with a lot of Bitcoiner blogs. But Lord Fusitua is an actual he's part of the Tongan parliament. And so the island of Tonga, the Pacific island nation of Tonga, they're talking about adding Bitcoin there in a similar way to how El Salvador does, or at least adding Bitcoin to the national treasury and allowing it to be a reserve for their national treasury. And unfortunately, it's going to be actions like this, right? Where the nation of Tonga says, like, yeah, we can do this. We can be a net producer of energy if we do it this way. And then we can be a net producer of Bitcoin for our region, right? We can be a leader in Bitcoin production for our region. But they're not going to be able to do it without money first, right? They have to develop it. And independent dollars, right? For independent investors, guys, if there are qualified investors in this audience here, I'm not asking for qualified investment, but if there are investors in the audience tonight, or if this happens to hit your desk and you're an investor, consider looking at some of these developing nations that need Bitcoin infrastructure and start there. Don't let nation states, like predatory nation building, empire building nation states, loan to these developing nations, because we'll just get more of the same, right? It'll be like, oh yeah, totally. How much do you need? You need $500 million to build out those volcano mining facilities? Sure, we'll do that. All you have to do is give us 70% of all the Bitcoin you ever mine in perpetuity, or just over the next 20 years. Thanks. Just 20 years. That's not long, right? 25 years? Just give us 70% of your Bitcoin. It's easy. You guys will have enough. See how that goes? That's the game that the United States and other countries play. Anyway, don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but this is a phenomenal book read, guys. And when you listen to it or read it, you will, I'm sure, as somebody who's interested in cryptocurrencies, you'll see some of the problems here. Guys, jumping back into some of the live comments here, and then I want to share another link with you before we go. Tayward says, so funny to see auto parts on Newegg. Yeah, I agree. Rosa, too much work. John Germain, again, third-party sellers. Remember the copper slump, the food crisis, aka Willie Nelson. Well, that came courtesy of the IMF and bank loans to third world countries. Yeah, nasty business, right? When taken to an extreme, these predatory loans, they affect literally the food supply chain. It's so much bigger than Bitcoin, right? It's so much bigger than the medium of exchange or the store of value. If it literally comes down to being able to feed children, like your own children in first world countries, then we've got to be cautious about how we let things progress, right? Like, because there can be serious knock-on effects. Gallo says, I'm downloading that on Audible ASAP. Thank you. I'm flattered by that. Some Goblin says, modern problems require modern solutions and money. I agree. There is a way out of this. I do think that there is a way out of this. And Satoshi says, we're being fooled. IRS against cryptocurrency tax non-compliance got more than 1,000 amended tax returns, collected 13 million in taxes from crypto holders with more than 20,000 in transactions. Huh, interesting. Yeah, the IRS is definitely taking a closer and closer look at cryptocurrencies. So, guys, for the record here, I'm just going to say, pay your taxes. Go USA. All right. Here's a link that I want you to see. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing, guys. My FBI handler is he's no longer shocked at the things that I say, either on my phone calls, my text messages, or on my live streams. So I'm probably not shocking you either. But back over to the list here. Bitcoin IRAs. Bitcoin Magazine today aired an article that is interesting. It's very, very interesting. They say Bitcoin IRAs are rising in popularity in the U.S., and I'm going to jump to the end, guys. It's funny. You can tell a lot about a write-up if you jump to the end, because it always begins strong and it ends with their bottom line opinion. So the upshot is, a better approach could be savings for retirement in self-custodied Bitcoin. The retired individual would enjoy true sovereignty by holding peer-to-peer, uncensorable, unstoppable money, something worth far more than dollars and tax cuts. Here's the thing, man. I'm going to tell you, why not get both? Again, if you work within the current system, if you work within the existing system that recognizes both tax-advantaged IRAs, things like Roth IRAs. Guys, again, this is not financial advice. But I read an article like this and I think, why do I have to choose? Because I shouldn't. Should I? I don't think I need to. Well, enter this. Retire with choice. And scrolling on down, the options that they choose right here, 3 membership options. They've got one that allows you to put your Bitcoin in cold storage, and they've got one that allows you to hold your own keys. We already don't have to choose, guys. Bitcoin in your own cold storage through Casa HODL. So Roth IRA, tax advantage, Bitcoin held in your own keys, your own multi-sig that you control through Casa HODL. I don't think that we have to make it so black and white, guys. I wanted to end on that note. When people are telling you that it's really, really scary in one direction, we don't have to listen to them. Just like the fear and greed index, guys, is a counter indicator. We don't have to listen to like FUD and fear mongering. All right, guys. Really appreciate you being here all the way to the end of the video. Really, really means a lot. Thank you so much for those super chats, guys. That really means a lot. Those have been coming in more regularly, and it warms my heart. Thank you for that support. Thank you for being subscribed and sharing this channel. We're so close to breaking through that 10,000 subscriber mark. We can get there together. Really appreciate it. Guys, remember to stay private and mind your biz. Oh, also, I love your face. Bye. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.